But really where I was going with this was when you were talking about Quebec and your recent note, because this is not the only one you've written on the grid. And it's one of my pet peeves about the whole, what I call the great green energy transition, is the vulnerability and fragility of the grid. And I think one of the advantages, and you guys can chime in or disagree, depending on how you feel, that this idea of kind of distributed energy that you could actually, you were saying about in your neighborhood, you can get these plants localized where they're not, you don't have to have these transmission lines. I mean, one of the huge problems with, solar plants and the wind plants or farms is when you get those in place, how do you get that power to market? And constructing transmission lines these days is, it's just an incredible political battle. So do you agree that that's one of the advantages of the whole SMR approach, is to be able to have distributed power and avoid the grid, or at least minimize reliance on the grid?
Well, I would say it's probably more advantageous that it provides baseload, predictable, dispatchable power on a regular basis, and grid operators can count on it 24/7, 365 with well-planned maintenance shutdowns signaled well in advance. But I would also say that you could imagine taking advantage of the pre-existing grid infrastructure by placing these SMRs at locations where coal-fired plants existed prior, and you have the infrastructure there. There's no question that we have an infrastructure crisis in the country, that low energy dense solar and wind power is exacerbating this, as well as the forced conversion of natural gas furnaces to heat pumps, which drives energy needs out of sync with the way in which the grid has been crafted and optimized over the years. The sun doesn't shine at night, the wind doesn't always blow. Transformers need to rest at night, and that's when most people would charge their electric vehicles. There's all manner of real challenges to the grid stability that all gets ignored in the name of green energy. If it's green, it has no trade-offs, and if it's not approved green, it has no benefits. That is the opening gambit of the environmentalists in their efforts to transition our economy, and it's high time we stood up to those debates and expose the fallacies that underpin them.